Good afternoon, this is Kevin, Florida man abroad. I'm living and working in China where the currency is the RMB, the China renminbi or RMB. And it is unusual because the RMB is the only major trading currency that does not float in the world currency markets. That is, the China government regulates very closely and strictly the value of the RMB in exchange with other currencies that are used around the world. So if you're in Japan and you use the Japanese yen, the British pound, the euro in Europe, these are market-driven currencies. That is, the value of the currency is established second by second, minute by minute, by currency traders and bond traders around the world. The China renminbi does not do that. Again, the China government manages very closely and tightly the band in which it trades. There is a very tight relationship between the RMB and the US dollar. Now, the US dollar is the world's reserve currency, at least for now. And so the China Central Bank and the China government authorities will regulate the value of the RMB in relation to the dollar. So almost all the price quotes you'll get out of China are priced in US dollars. And it's just understood that if you're in Mexico or Brazil or Canada, you'll have to do the conversion from US dollars into pesos or Brazil real or Canadian dollars to get the price in your local currency. So the China government will regulate the band between the RMB and the US dollar, and that will regulate the overall currency conditions, RMB to the whole world. The China government uses another tool to carefully regulate their currency market, which is outbound RMB conversions. It's very difficult to convert RMB here in country to any other foreign currency. If you ask 1,000 expats or our companies about our experiences converting RMB to dollars or euro, you will get 1,000 horror stories about how difficult it is. It is difficult, and that's by design. It's another very powerful tool the Chinese use to carefully regulate the inbound and outbound conversions and thereby the conversion value of the RMB to other currencies. So today, the RMB is about 7.2 RMB to the dollar. That is $1 buys 7.2 renminbi. Conversely, it costs 7.2 RMB to buy $1. In December 2021, 2 years ago, the exchange rate was 6.35 RMB to the dollar. So it cost 6.35 RMB to buy $1. That means that in real terms, in the past 2 years, the value of the RMB is down 13% against the US dollar. And the US dollar is up that much against the RMB. That means that everything bought from China in USD terms is falling in price. In the United States and Europe, there is significant inflation. In those same 2 years, the prices of household goods and energy and a lot of other things are up 25% or more. Yet manufactured products and services coming out of China cost 13% less. So the reason you're not seeing those savings on the things you buy in the store, at least coming out of here, is because those profits are being kept by middlemen, the companies, the brands that buy from here and repackage and sell it in US stores and European stores at European and American prices. So that's another thing to consider, that if you're an expatriate here and if you're paid in US dollars, you're paid in RMB, or you're paid in Japanese yen, your cost of living here is falling in real terms because your dollar is buying more rental apartment, it's buying more gasoline, it's buying more groceries in the store, it's buying more utilities. And it's true, the cost of living is falling. In the time I've been here, it's very noticeable how rents are falling even in the big cities, in the most desirable locations. And the value and the price of common things in China stores are falling. That's not just in dollar terms either. That's in RMB terms. What's going on in China? You are seeing real deflation, falling prices. And there's a reason for that too. First of all, the urbanization trend is almost over. Several decades ago, the China government decided they were going to move 800 million people or so from the rural areas to the urban centers. 700 million people have made that move. That means that most of that trend is finished. There's still a lot of people to move. 100 million people is still a lot, but it's not growing at double-digit rates like it has been for the last 25 years. Secondly, the construction boom is basically over. The big cities have been built. The big urban centers are developed. The subway lines are done. We've gone from 2 international airports to over 200. The high-speed rail system went from nothing to the biggest in the world. And that's still being done. You still have to do maintenance and repairs, and you're adding some lines here and there. But again, it's not growing at double-digit rates anymore. So the urbanization boom is over. The construction boom is largely over. And the third thing is that the demographic trends, the aging of the population here is very obvious. China is aging very quickly, and old people don't spend as much money on household goods and products as younger people. Retired people just don't spend money, period. And so the same population trends that are in China are happening also around the world, in the markets that China sends to. In Europe and North America, we also have aging problems. And so those 3 big trends are there, and that results in significant slack in the supply chains. There's a lot of excess capacity in the manufacturing sector here. And that means the prices are falling in RMB terms, and they're falling even faster in US dollar terms. What that means is that business executives here who can deal directly with the factories, no middleman. Don't go to a middleman in New York or Singapore or Tokyo or the other places where you're trying to get the best pricing from China factories. You have to be here yourself. And if you can negotiate with the factories, you can take these price advantages for yourself. You can benefit from the deflation that's happening in the China economy everywhere, and you can benefit from the very advantageous exchange rate. And the China government will help you. It is the policy of the China government to encourage their export sector. And they do that by keeping the RMB artificially low compared to the dollar. And you can benefit from both of those trends to really help the profits of your business and either pass those savings along to customers or keep them for yourself. But again, you have to be here to take advantage of this properly. And by being here, your cost of living is dropping. Everywhere else in the world, it's going up. But here in China, your cost of living will fall, your profits will rise, and it's something that the expats here have noticed a huge change just in the past 5 or 6 years in these trends that are firmly now decisively in favor of U.S. and foreign companies that are setting up here in China. Thanks for listening. Be good.